Hey guys, welcome back to the Beginner Guitar Lesson Series. The purpose of this video is going to serve as a little bit of a blues primer, just kind of getting you started on some fundamental blues concepts. We're going to cover swing feel, talking about where that rhythm comes from and how to work on it, because most blues that you play is going to be utilizing swing feel, and blues is not the only genre that uses it. It's definitely prominent there, but you're going to hear it everywhere. So it's just something that you want to know about. We're going to go through the 12-bar blues form with a shuffle pattern, the first shuffle pattern that everybody learns that is just easy to get on the guitar and it sounds great, right? Easy to have fun with. And then we're going to go through the 12-bar blues form with our 7th chords and utilizing that swing feel rhythm just like we're going to be doing with the shuffle pattern. So let's get right into it. So swing feel is derived from a triplet. Okay, so all we're talking about here is, if you know what an eighth note is, we're taking a beat and dividing it straight down the middle. Right, so we're talking just different subdivisions here. Eighth notes dividing a beat by 2, triplets dividing a beat by 3. So instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and it's triplet, 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 or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can think there's several ways to count it, but the most important thing is that you feel it. So we're dividing it by 3. So we're just going to do this with a single open string. I'm just going to randomly choose string 4 open. Okay, we're just going to do string 4 open. You can do whatever string you want. So you could use all down picks or down up picking, whatever feels most comfortable. All down picking will feel a little bit more strained, but this is just to get a sense of how to extract swing feel from the triplet, right? And this is kind of going through the math of it. So if we think about a triplet, 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 1, 2, 3. Slow that down a little bit. We're going to pick that on string 4 open, triplet, triplet, and you can put a little bit more weight on that first of each group, so you can really identify the start of each beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Speed it up a little bit. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Triplet, 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 triplet. So it's not important to go fast, but just so you can hear it at different speeds there. What swing feel is specifically is taking the second of those triplets, the second eighth note triplet, out, right? Or at least that's the way we're going to think about it. Really, it could be thought of two ways: extracting it out or combining it with the first one to make a quarter note triplet. So instead of 3 eighth note triplets, you take the first 2, put them together, and that's going to be a quarter note triplet, and then you're left with 1 eighth note triplet. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, we get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you can have a little bit of variation in terms of your swing feel. It could be a heavy swing, it could be a light swing, or but understanding these fundamental concepts and just kind of, like I said earlier, the math of it is going to give you something to hold on to in terms of how to figure this out. And then when you work with a metronome, you're going to see the little symbol of a quarter note triplet and an eighth note triplet and recognize, oh, that's exactly what I was working on. Oftentimes it'll be that, or it'll be the 3 eighth note triplets, but the note head on the middle one is gone. So you're looking for one of those two symbols. You'll see that on sheet music, and you'll also see that on metronomes. So that creates that uneven eighth note feel. It's literally 2/3 of a beat and 1/3 of a beat, right? Those 2 eighth note triplets together and 1 eighth note triplet, 2/3 and 1/3. So again, that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You're gonna speed it up a little bit. And you wanna start thinking about this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's how you're gonna want to count it go a little bit faster. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're trying to feel this lopsided, kind of uneven, of course. Long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short. It's always important, regardless of whether it's swing fill or straight eighth notes, to not turn the beat around. But when you turn the beat around with swing eighths, you're really going to feel it, and you'll know that something's off, right? If you kind of flip the long and the short to, in terms of the position that they hold within the beat. The long is the downbeat, the short is the upbeat. So just something to be aware of as you're playing around with this. So let's do this with chords first. We're going to look at A7. So that is from string 5 down, open, 2, open, 2, open, and I'm using fingers 2 and 3 there. And then we've got D7 from string 4 down, got string 4 open, 2, 1, 2, finger 2, finger 1, finger 3, and then E7 from string 6 all the way to the floor here, string 6 open, 2, open, 1, open, open. E7 there, and I've got fingers 2 and 1. So, relatively easy chord transitions. If you haven't played them before, just do a little left hand alone. Of course, trying to memorize them, being able to visualize them, all that stuff is going to help. So I'm just going to call the chord out that I'm going to change to, and we're just going to do down, up, just like we were doing with the open string there. So A7, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. I'm going to change the way I'm counting that now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and a little bit faster. 2 and 3 and 4, and let's go to a D7, D7, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And don't worry if you're not keeping up with the transition. I'm just going to stay here for a little bit, get those fingers in place. Just trying to get that swing feel in our ears. Go back to A7. Hang out here for a minute, and then we'll go to E7. These are basically the transitions that we're going to be playing through the 12-bar blues form. Let's go ahead and go to an E7. Long, short, back to an A7. Long, short, so on and so forth. So we're going to go through the 12-bar blues form. There's many forms, and we're going to go through what I am dubbing as the most basic form of it, which you hear a lot in music. So basically, we break it down into 3 lines of 4 measures or 4 bars. The first 4 bars are going to be all A7, so A7, 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 A7. The second 4 bars, set of 4 bars, is going to be D7, D7, A7, A7. And then the last 4, set of 4, are going to be the ones that change a little bit more. It's going to be E7, D7, A7, E7. We're just going to go ahead and plug that E7 at the end, which is called the turnaround, which sends you back to the beginning to repeat everything. So this is what one measure is going to sound like. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's one measure. So you would do that for the first set of 4 bars. You would do that 4 times, right? So that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then we're going to jump to D7. So this is going to be 2 measures of D, 2 measures of A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and And then the last set of 4, like I said, changing a little bit more, E7, D7, A7, E7. So, sorry, E7, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and D, 2 and 3 and 4 and A7, and ending on an E7. And that's typically that sound you're hearing at the end of the form. Like I said, it brings you back to the beginning, and you just start doing the same thing over and over and over in a loop. So let's do that once all the way through slow, a little bit faster, just getting that swing feel in our ears, in the feeling of the strumming, and dealing with those chord transitions. If you're not getting that right away, like I said, take your time, pause the video, just play around with the left hand, and once that's feeling comfortable, you can jump in, start making up your own exercises with this stuff. I'm just kind of giving you the general format. So we're learning chords, we're learning swing feel, we're learning the form of the 12-bar blues. And we're going to be looking at that shuffle here in a second. All right, so I'm going to keep calling the chords out. I'm just going to say the chord name at the beginning of each measure, all right? Even if we're repeating it, and then the second time we'll go a little bit faster. So A7, 1, 3, A, last measure of A, going to a D7. Second measure D7 and A7, A7 and E and D and A and E. Okay, I'm going to count it in. I'm going to do that a little bit quicker. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and A, going to D, and D, back to A. And E, and D, and A, and E. Now, obviously, you might want to start changing up the rhythm a little bit and making it a little bit more exciting. And you could certainly do that immediately if you already feel comfortable with those chords and swing feel. Like I said, this is meant to just be a primer and introduce you to these concepts. I do have a playlist for blues lessons, so if you want to go dig more into the blues, go check that out. But even though this is super straightforward in terms of the rhythm, meaning that it's staying consistent, you will hear that through songs where just that is the rhythm. So it doesn't always have to be complicated, right? Some of the most memorable, popular, great tunes are pretty easy. So, last thing we're going to go over is the shuffle pattern. So, just kind of break it down here real quick. Every chord shuffle is going to be 2 strings. And it's always going to be one string is open, the other string is fretted. So, I'm going to show you with the A chord first. It's going to be string 5 open, and finger 1 on string 4 fret 2. We're going to hold that down the entire time we're on the A chord, and then finger 3 is going to hit string 4 fret 4. So those 2 fingers on the same string, string 4 fret 2 and string 4 fret 4, and we're just going to strum down the entire time, just hitting those 2 strings. All right, just 5 and 4. That's our A chord. But we're going to alternate that with that 3rd finger. So it's going to go 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 4, 4. If you're finding that you're having trouble getting your hand in position to reach that 4th fret, play around with your thumb position. A lot of people find themselves kind of putting the thumb over here when they're trying to reach like this, and it tightens up the hand. So the way I like to teach students to think about the thumb is balance out the hand position. So if I'm only going to be pressing the 2nd fret, then yeah, my thumb is going to be basically across from that. But if I have to reach out here, then I want to balance out that shape using those 2 fingers. So I'm going to be more in the middle of that shape, right around that 3rd fret. Cool little rule to, kind of abide by, just to check that left hand position, because the thumb gives people a lot of trouble, but they don't realize that it's the thumb. They think it's just they're not flexible enough or something, but more often than not, it's that thumb. Okay, so that was the A. We're going to be doing the same thing for the D chord and the D chord and the E chord. We're just going to change the string set that we're using. So that was string 5 and 4. For D, it's going to be strings 4 and 3. So string 4 open, and then the 2nd and 4th fret of string 3. That's our D shuffle. I'm just hitting those 2 strings, all down strums. And then E is going to be on string 6 and 5. So string 6 open, and then string 5, fret 2, and 5, fret 4. That's it. So you just got to get comfortable with moving those fingers around, letting the pick only find the 2 strings that you want to be playing. And yeah, let's go through that whole 12-bar blues form now. So starting on A, it's going to be the same format as we did with the chords. A7 or the A chord 4 times, 4 measures, and then the next set of 4 bars, D twice, A twice, and then the last set of 4 bars, E, D, A, E. Okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, and 2nd measure and 3rd measure, 4th, going to D. You can slow this down a little bit more if you have to for the transition. Sorry I messed up the rhythm there as I was talking. Back to the A and E and D. That's the biggest jump, and A and E. We're going to do that again a little bit faster. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and A. Measure 2, measure 3, measure 4, 1 to D. D again, back to A. E for 1, and D, and A. That is it, guys. So like I said, if you want to get a little bit more into blues, go to the blues playlist. It's graded from start to finish, and gets into a bunch of different concepts, different chords and rhythms and all that stuff. So definitely some patterns in there involving that shuffle. There's a lot of stuff that you can get done with that shuffle pattern in this position using those open strings. That's why we have so much blues in A, blues in E. We see a lot of that because it suits the guitar very well. So I'll leave it at that. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully this helps you find even more enjoyment in the blues. Like I say in a lot of my videos, blues are everywhere in terms of popular rock music, and it's almost like you can't get away from it, and I mean that in the best way possible, because blues are awesome. So have fun, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. See you in the next video. Thanks.